it seems that a lot of these images of World War II or World War I feature sort of almost anonymous individuals. I mean, I must imagine that it was hard to identify some of these people, especially when you're talking about pictures that were taken post-battle. Now I feel like when future generations look back on where we are currently, do you think that'll change how people perceive the war and the conflicts that we've fought because we're able to identify the people in these photographs and we're able to identify those that we lost in battle, or do you think that that's not as much of an issue?
For me or for him?
For anybody. From a filmmaking standpoint, or as someone who's
the one thing I want to say is that I was in the Royal Navy in England. I was actually at college when the Falklands War started, but I didn't experience that. I think one of the goals that we would all like to get at in the film is that I don't think anyone really understands what it's like to be a soldier. In England, we have that expression, stiff upper lip. You pat the guy on the back and you say, it's going to be okay. But you don't have any insight at all. So I think one of the big hopes that we have for this film is you're listening to real veterans talk about their experiences before, during, and after. And I think if you can walk away with just a little understanding of what that means, I think that's great for all of us. I think it's great for us. I think it's great for veterans. And maybe, next time we rush into battle somewhere, maybe we'll just have that little bit better insight to perhaps come up with a better way of dealing with a potential war situation.
One thing that came out of the film was that when we originally made the film, as Nick said, we were looking at it as a way to, bring the past into the present and also allow people to connect with the soldier stories, as the title implies. What we didn't really anticipate, and which certainly Chris could speak to, was the veteran reaction. So, obviously we want vets to like the film, and what the reaction has been very, very strong is that when we're still kind of digesting how this plays out, is that a lot of the veterans feel and come out very, very, very strongly moved by the film. What's kind of occurred is that I realize now that none of the veterans even talk to their own friends or about it. So a lot of them have held all of this in. So this is the first time in their lives, even though they all have experienced this, where they actually realize they're not strange, or they have actually had thoughts that are common thoughts. And for them, it's a very big moment where they relive the past and also realize that, it's something that they all shared. And that wasn't really an intent we had, but certainly something that, Chris could speak to better than I.
Yeah, I would like to add to that. I think I shared with you a story earlier today where I was recently in Seattle visiting some guys that I served in Iraq with. It's near Fort Lewis, where I was stationed for a bit. And I was there visiting some guys who I was in Iraq with, and I swear to God, I was sitting in a cafe outside, and some guy walked up to me and said, "Hey, are you Chris?" I ran into another guy that I had served in Iraq with, and we have been back almost a decade. And so we had dinner to catch up, and both of us were basically sharing with each other for the first time how the experience affected us. My friend basically just went on the road for a year. And went overseas and just was trying to find a way to finally reconnect back into society. And so it's that conversation that you want to have with someone, but you don't want to have it because you don't want to be the first one to say, I got nightmares, I don't like going into crowded rooms, I have trouble just opening up and talking to my family, and I also visited my dad when I was up there. And we were visiting a mutual friend, and I went into the other room and I overheard my dad tell my mutual friend, our mutual friend, that, hey, this is the first time Chris has ever spoken about anything having to do with the war. And I just realized it's been almost a decade and I've never had a conversation with my own father about what I went through. So, I forget what the original question even was, but
no, that's not important.
Did I answer it?
Yes, you did.